welcome back to Prog in the year 4000. Or, since this is the first episode of the new year, should I say Prog in the year 4001? No. No. It's a bad joke. It's not the name of the show. So, elephant in the room here. You've probably been wondering what I've been doing since I updated last 4 months ago. Well, I've been taking my time trying to figure out a pretty weird album. See, in the 1970s, when NASA launched the Voyager spacecraft, they equipped it with all this equipment to measure all the electromagnetic whatevers emanated by the planets. Years later, they released a compilation of these measurements as audible sound waves, so you can hear what it sounds like to be a robot cruising through space. Are you confused? Well, maybe I'd better just show you the record. It's shit floating in space. It's really fucking Prog. Next. Today we're talking about Styx, or rather The Grand Illusion, their definitive record. So, here's the thing. You know the good bits already. This album is full of classic rock staples. To sum it up, it's a grand illusion.
Man, I must really suck.
Now, Styx tends to be lumped in with a lot of music that's considered prog. And I'm going to tell you right now, these songs aren't very prog. You see, prog is short for progressive, and people kind of have a pretty loose definition of what progressive means these days. Progressive, implies something that's sort of like forward-looking, or like advances the establishment. And I think that people consider Styx prog just because they meet 70s tropes, not because they actually do any of that. I mean, there's a lot of like extended guitar solos, synthesizers, and like singing about talking with aliens from space. But really, they're neither the first nor the last to follow this pattern, and honestly, the songs are about as formulaic and radio-friendly as they come. The hits aren't prog at all and fall on the low end of the sliding scale. But what about the stuff you haven't heard? Well, maybe the B-sides on this album can push it into the stratospheres of prog. Except that they don't. I mean, the best of the lesser-known tracks here are probably going to be Superstars and Miss America, which feature catchy melodies and the band's trademark vocal harmonies, but not much else. Say what you will about how attention-grabbing they may or may not be, but at least they're two completely different songs with clearly different melodies. Now, this may seem like a really specific complaint, but allow me to introduce you to Miss America's twin sister, Man in the Wilderness. So we get 2 songs in a row with nearly identical guitar riffs, and I'm pretty sure this is unintentional. The riff is definitely not supposed to recall the previous track. I mean, they're listed separately on the album, and they're separated by a fade out. It's clearly not some kind of musical development, because we get one in the unsurprising reprise of Grand Illusion and Superstars and Come Sail Away at the very end. It's just pretty lazy. Speaking of which, we come to our next track, Castle Walls. And listening to this makes me realize why some people really don't like prog. I mean, this record is pretty much universally categorized as prog, which it isn't. And then you hear something like Castle Walls, which just takes its sweet time building to a really, really unsatisfying climax, and I can see how it would be a turnoff at first listen. And that's the thing, this isn't progressive rock, it's just rock. Pretty boring rock. But that's why we have a spectrum on which to place things that are considered prog. And while most of the album's pretty forgettable, there are some moments on Come Sail Away that are a little more intricate than the usual radio-friendly fare. But honestly, the only people who are going to defend the progness of this album are people who don't get around much, people who don't have the musical training to understand what they're hearing, or don't have much musical context on which to base their assumptions. But you know what the best part of the album is? The album cover. You look at it close, and you see a sexy lady, but you zoom back a little bit, and you realize it's just a plastic CD case. Look, it's not real, it's just plastic, it's just a CD case, it's not real. It's an illusion. All in all, Grand Illusion bottoms out on our sliding scale. I'm Sean, and this is Prog in the Year 4000. See you next time.